Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Ogle, and welcome to the very first SW Herts Local History TV show. So you're probably familiar with my face, but we have a new face on the TV channels today. We have Dave Sawyer. Now, can I say hello, Dave?
Hello, Chris. Thanks very much for inviting me along to the show. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Well, it's good to have you here, David. And we can do a little bit of a brief history, I think, because being as a history channel, we probably want to do a bit of history. So, how did we meet? If you tell people how we met.
We met at a local networking group, Watford Weekly Business, where a group of like-minded businessmen look to share business with each other and do things for the community. And you came along and told us even more about the community.
Yeah, now that must have been, I don't know, two years ago now, I guess.
At least 2 years ago, yes.
Yeah. What's happened is that various things have gone on over those last 2 years, but I've got to learn that you're passionate about history, and you run a thing called USA History Tours of London, which is about well, you can tell people what it is. Go on, you tell them.
Basically, I was very fortunate to have a darling wife who bought me a book. And reading through the book, I found a lot of notations to American history in London. And I have an American connection. I have American family. I have American clients. And I got to thinking that this could be a very good marketplace to teach Americans about their history here in London. They've got more here in London than they've got in America.
Fabulous. So being as you're like a bit of an aficionado with regard to history, we thought we would do two history shows actually. One of them would be based in where we live, which is Southwest Herts, and more specifically we actually both live in Watford. And later on we would come down to doing a national history show, which would be from anywhere around the country, just basically bringing history to life. Because you've got an interesting story, David, about when you were at school and your first, if you like, touches of history weren't all great, were they?
No, at secondary school, I first 4 years at school, we learned world history, and I found it extremely boring. In fact, so bad that I used to get 10-12% end of term exams. Until the 5th year, when we had a fantastic teacher who changed the topic to British social and economic history, and we learnt about where we lived, which was Ruislip, a place mentioned in the Domesday Book. It's got buildings going back to the 11th and 12th century, and it sparked an interest for me, which has not died. Fabulous.
So what we doing on this? What we're going to be doing on this show? Well. We were talking about this over the last month or so while we were in preparation for it, and actually Watford's got some pretty amazing history. You've lived in Watford pretty much all your life as well, apart from as you say, where you grew up in Ruislip. But there's a lot of history here in Watford, isn't there?
There is so much history. I mean, I was just talking to a gentleman the other week whose family have been in print for goodness knows how long, and tells us that Watford has been the print centre not only locally in Hertfordshire, but in England, Europe, and possibly even the world. We've got so much here with Sun Printers, the Oddham's Press, Croxley Script, John Dickinson's, and things around here that are named for the particular history of Watford.
Yeah, I mean, my father worked in Sun Printers, as did lots and lots of people in Watford. So. And it wasn't the only print shop. There were lots of them around here in Watford. Oddham's, bookbinders, as you say, and there were a lot. It was just very industrial. But it all came about because of the transport network. Watford is just so conveniently placed, isn't it?
It is indeed. I mean, you only have to look back to John Betjeman and Metroland, and Watford is the epitome of the commuter belt. We've got so much links with the M1. We've got the train links straight into London via Watford Junction. We've got Watford Met, which is going to be extended. All gives people easy access anywhere within London and the rest of the UK.
I mean, it all started probably back in the day with the canals and lugging paper pulp and stuff up on the canals, I would guess.
Yeah, indeed. The Grand Union Canal has been a great source before the motorways, and there are still some things that are on there. We had the Apsley Mill, we had Croxley Mill, all based on the Grand Union Canal, with the barges going up and down, bringing supplies and taking them throughout the land from downstream to the Thames and up through to Birmingham.
Absolutely. Now, for me, and I mean, I've lived in Watford for years and years, so I've seen some pretty big changes, and it's really been interesting to see things like the pond in the town, to how that's changed over the years, and you see the high street and how that's changed. And there was a video I saw of the top of the town in front of the town hall, where that used to be a roundabout back in the 50s, and of course you had Canterbury Gates, which, you know, there's a whole furore going on about Canterbury Gates at the moment. So and you had Scammell's here and Rolls Royce in Leavesden, and all these places have disappeared now. And I think there's a latent need to get not to get, but to open up the history to the younger generation, because I don't think that's being done adequately.
I agree with you on that, Chris, because there's so much history here, and it's older people in the town that can remember it. And unless it's passed on, the youngsters will not even find out about it, let alone forget about it. There are a lot of history societies within Watford, and what we would like to do is to bring them together to share their history with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we were talking about when we came on air was there's some Facebook groups. They've got 3,000-4,000 people in them, and there's 900 or so in the Canterbury Gates. I think there's a website for Canterbury, you know, for the pond. There's a guy that maintains a website for the pond. Now, we've got the District Hub website, which, you know, we've been putting together. So actually, we can have a little history section in there, and we can start to build up a little library of all the different resources that already exist. This TV show isn't about trying to take over or replace all the good work that's going on already, more to give it more visibility and to get more people engaged with it. Wouldn't you say so, though?
Yes, we would. We would like to see each individual group that's got an interest in history and Watford to present exactly what they do to people. We'd invite them to come on the show and tell us about exactly what part of Watford they are interested in, and pass it on to everybody else to gain even more interest.
Now, here's an open invitation. I'm well known for going out on the streets and interviewing people and stuff like that, but we have got so much stuff out there. Like, the only thing that remains now of the Scammell factory, I believe, are the iron gates or the iron railings that are in the... Yeah,
the iron railings down Talcott's Lane.
Yeah, so that's all that's left now. So, you know, going down there, yeah, we've got all this massive roadworks going on down behind the hospital and everything. You know, goodness knows what they're digging up or messing about with down there. But and actually things like the Leavesden Mental Hospital, you know, there's a whole variety of stuff that people can find out about. And I do know people who actually run tours up there. So we want all these people to start talking to us, because it's through this mechanism that I can get out there, we can get people on the show, we can start to really share this stuff with the people in Watford.
Absolutely excellent, Chris. It's the way, I think, forward for history. Seems a strange thing to say, but history is all about us. It's created as we go along. 10, 15, 20 years time, this will be history. People still need to know. We're lucky that we have the ability these days with technology to be able to bring it to people and show them firsthand exactly what things were. And yes, a lot of sites being built and dug up, the new Into Centre. I'm sure there's some quite good archaeology beneath that where they are working. I'd like to hear from an archaeological society if they've discovered anything there.
Absolutely right. And I know that I was talking with Diane Richardson, who we both know, the other day, and she was saying that her dad now lives in Northampton, but her dad used to live down where Into is now, there were like roads there, and there were houses. It just seems like unbelievable that could have been the case. But you know, I think there's a coffee shop on the corner which used to be the police station many years ago.
Yeah, I can remember before the M2 site down Queen's Road, and I used to go as a youngster to a nightclub down there called the New Penny, and there was an open marketplace at the back of that. All these have disappeared and been changed into different things, which change is not necessarily the best thing, but there are lots of things. We have in Watford Market Street, and there are pictures still of the cattle market that was in the high street, and things all gone. Cattle market's completely gone.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure cattle would be welcome on a Saturday in Watford High Street, to be fair. But no, I'm getting quite excited about it because there are just so many things that we could talk about. We could go on for absolutely hours. Now, these shows are going to be coming out every other week, so they'll be bi-weekly. But we do want to get, they'll be longer than this one. This one's just a little brief introduction to just sort of share what we're going to be doing, so we can pop this out to the history societies and people who have got an interest in the history of what's going on in these parts. And of course, we've only really talked about Watford, but you've got Chorleywood, Rickmansworth, Croxley, Abbots Langley, Kings Langley. I mean, the place has been here a while, David, hasn't it? So
it's been here a long time, and a lot of the things within those local communities tie together. It's, as I say, we mentioned earlier on, the Dickinsons and the Apsley Mill and the Croxley Mill, they all come in together and provided things for Watford, and Watford provided for them, and it's showing exactly how we can work together.
Brilliant stuff. All right, well, I think we've given people enough of a kind of overview of what we will be covering. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, and I'm really excited. We're going to start making a long list. I'll probably set up a community which people can participate in, and maybe even provide suggestions, a place where we can store suggestions and ideas, because this isn't about me and David sitting here talking about what we want to talk about, although that'd be very nice. It's about sharing with the people of Watford stuff that's really interesting and that people might like to know more about. So good stuff, huh, Dave?
Absolutely brilliant. And for people out there that want us to go and look at places that they're interested in, we're only too willing to go and do it to improve people's knowledge of the area.
Fabulous. Well, thanks for joining me, Dave, and it's been. I'm just really looking forward to this. I think I'm going to find out so much stuff about what's going on in Watford I never even knew about, and I've lived here, as I say, all my life. So, but it's a bit like that. It's when you start getting under the covers, it's a veritable treasure trove.
Absolutely.
Right, so cheerio then, Dave. So
cheers, Chris.
Okay, and it's goodbye from me, and we'll see you all again in a couple of weeks' time at 3 p.m. Thanks.
Thank you.